biscuits and tomato gravy. This is something that I grew up on. It's a favorite down here at my house. So I make it pretty often. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna start off with our biscuits. I like to use cast iron when I'm cooking my biscuits. Yes, we are using frozen biscuits today. We can do homemade, but I just don't have time to do it this morning. So we are going to be using frozen. One thing I like to do is I like to kind of lube the bottom up with a little bit of bacon grease. You could also use melted butter, cooking spray, vegetable oil, whatever you want to. But I like to get a good coating in the bottom of the skillet. There we go, nice thin coating. There we go. And then what you want to do, if you're using frozen biscuits, you just plop them in there, put one in the middle, and you just run a ring around it. If you're doing homemade biscuits, you can do it the same way. I guess you could do this with canned biscuits if you prefer canned biscuits. I don't necessarily care for them, but there we go. I prefer the frozen ones or homemade. Oh, there we go. We've already got the oven preheated to 375, so these will go ahead and go in the oven. And while those are rolling in the oven, we'll go ahead and get started on our tomato gravy. So what we're going to be using, obviously we're going to be going with bacon grease again today, a little bit of flour, homegrown canned tomatoes. If you don't have homegrown, you can use regular crushed tomatoes, canned tomatoes. Typically for a recipe this size, I use one normal size can. So while this is coming up to temperature, what we're going to do, we're going to throw a little bit of this grease in here because we're going to need that to kind of fry up our flour or brown our flour. There we go. So while that's going, you'll bring our flour over here. Very, very simple recipe. If you can do a regular gravy or you can do a roux, then you can do this. So we've got that melting down. I guess that's probably about a quarter cup, half cup, somewhere in there. 2 scoops with the spoon. So another thing that I need, my wooden spatula. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to drop, we're going to start with about a half cup of flour. Get that to cooking. Maybe a little bit more. And this is just regular plain all-purpose flour. Go. So you see that flour is starting to bubble up. Once it starts doing that, you want to make sure you're mixing it pretty steadily. There we go. Because you want to cook that flour, otherwise it'll taste raw. We're going to knock that heat down a little bit. Might need a little bit more oil. And then we'll just keep cooking that flour down until it starts to brown. Now you want to keep that flour moving, because if you let it sit too long, it'll actually burn. Again, this is another reason I like a wooden spatula. You see, I got it rubbing the bottom of this cast iron skillet, and that's not hurting this wooden spatula at all. Keeping that flour going. And probably got to do this for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. There we go. We're going to see it foaming up. You kind of let it cook a little bit. Turn that heat up just a little bit. And then, so basically what's happening is the bottom of this flour is cooking. And so every so often, there you go, you see every time you turn it, that flour gets a little bit darker. And then cooking it in bacon grease. You can smell that bacon, all the flavors from that bacon grease. And we'll just keep working it until it gets ready. So, not really much to do right now other than keep the flour from burning. Like it's smoking a good bit, but that'll be alright. Right now, all we're doing is just grinding this flour. Now we're starting to get there. See, it's a little bit darker. It's starting to smooth out. So that base has just about gotten to where we need it to go. So we're going to go ahead and throw in our tomatoes. We're going to let those cook. Put a little bit of water on standby just in case we need it. And now what you do is you just sit there and stir this. See how it's starting to thicken up? What that is, that's all that flour getting integrated into there. And while we're doing this, we're going to go ahead and hit it with our seasonings. I like a lot of black pepper in mine. A little bit of onion powder in it. I don't know if we're going to need salt because these were pretty heavy packed with salt. There you go. See how thick it's starting to get, so that's why we got the water on standby. And a little bit of water. You can probably do this with beef broth and it'd be just as good. maybe even a little bit better. But really what you're trying to do right now is you're just thinning that gravy down to the consistency where you want it to be. Most people don't like just a big blob of mass on their biscuit, but you just keep working it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of that, and we're gonna go grab the whisk, kick that heat up a little bit, and just keep working it. A lot of stirring. Put a few seasonings in there. A little bit of Tony's. Got onion powder in there. And that should be about it. I think one more shot of water ought to get us just about there. Cook down, grab a spoon real quick. The way I like to check it is I just take it. If it goes to the back of a spoon, then your consistency is just about there. We're going to give it a taste real quick, see if anything needs to be added. That is just about it. Probably need some garlic. Garlic powder, where are you? Now it's more or less just seasoning to your taste. Yep, that's there. That is there. So we'll check on our biscuits real quick. They're just about done. Biscuits probably got another 5 or 10 minutes. So next time we'll see you, we'll be pulling the biscuits out and plating up. And all right, so gravy is made. Biscuits are just about done. One of the things that I like to do with my biscuits, right before they're done, I like to pull them out, and then so I melted some butter over here. Just take a little bit of melted butter, brush it on the tops of the biscuits, give them a little more flavor, as well as kind of brown those tops off. So there we go, that's made up. Sit that over there. So we're gonna throw these back in the oven for just a minute until they brown, and once they're brown, the biscuits should be done, and at that point we'll go ahead and serve. So alright, so now we are going to go ahead and pull our biscuits out. You see they've got nice and brown on the tops, they're nice and fluffy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna set the biscuits over here. There we go. Throw the biscuits right there. Get another little pot holder. There we go. Go ahead and grab the gravy. Set it over here. Spatula, because these biscuits are a little bit hot. There we go. Just like that. And the one thing I love about cooking them in a cast iron skillet is you get that nice crispy bottom. So go ahead and split the biscuits open, nice and fluffy, just like that. And then we'll get us spoon us on some of this gravy. That's a little warm. There we go. And now We have biscuits and tomato gravy. There we go. Alrighty. Well, there you are. Biscuits and tomato gravy. Takes about 15-20 minutes to cook. Again, that's why I get the biscuits going as soon as before I start the gravy. That way the biscuits can go, and then I can do the gravy while the biscuits